Welcome back to OATS Uncut, Orator Academy Talks Uncut, where our conversations are raw, authentic, organic, and mostly uncut. And as you know, I'd like to bring inspiring people, friends, professionals, leaders, politicians who are every day around us, and their stories are so inspiring, their journeys have been so inspiring. And on that note, I wanted to tap into this gentleman, Krishna Memani. We have a lot to learn from his journey too. Krishna, welcome.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure entirely. Now, I've known you personally, so you know how when you know somebody personally, you don't really explore as to what their professional background is.
Yep.
So I have learned about you gradually, and it has been so impressive. And I was very eager to do this with you. You are the only professional friend, so to say, Wall Street banker category that I've invited so far. So this is my debut episode with a Wall Street person.
Thank you again. I hope I can live up to that expectation.
No, oh my God. I am thinking, I hope I live up to the expectations, because you have featured on Bloomberg and CNBC and stuff like that. And we are OATS Uncut.
Wow. It's good to do it.
So I'm very grateful for your time today. So first question. At what age did you move to the United States?
I was 20 years old, so in 1981.
1981.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And were you fluent in the English language when you moved here?
Well, I knew English. Calling it fluent would be a stretch a bit. You know, I grew up in a very small town in West Bengal, and my primary education was in Bengali. And then I went to a boarding school in Bihar, not known for its English, until graduated in 1976 from there, and then went to an engineering school. So that was the biggest jump in my English, or fluency in English actually happened during my engineering program. And then when I came to the US, I had no real choice, so I had to get to it really quickly.
So you went to one of the leading engineering schools in India, BITS Pilani.
Yeah.
And so, of course, everything there was in English. So how was that? So you had multiple transitions, one from that small town in Bihar where there was barely any English, or not the right kind. And then you moved to BITS, which is fully in English.
Yes.
And then you moved to United States, where English is the only language.
Yeah.
So did you ever consider this to be a hurdle, or you just wanted to put yourself through those experiences and challenges?
Well, so, you know, if you were going to be an engineer in India, you didn't have a choice.
You didn't have a choice?
Yeah, the entire educational system for engineering anyway is in English. So I had to make that transition because that's what I wanted to be.
Right.
And then when I came over here, again, I had no choice. So I had to improve my fluency in a meaningful way for me to be able to kind of communicate and participate in all the things that happen in graduate programs in the US.
That is true. So now, do you think that, you know, people get very confused listening to us? Because you grew up in India, I grew up in India. I came at a later age than you did because I didn't come here for school. So when I speak, people think that I learned it here, but I tell them English is a very widely spoken language in India. They can't wrap their heads around it. And I tell them India is a land of multiple languages and dialects. So this is the common language amongst all of us.
Of course.
So
of course.
On that note, maybe that's why to explain to people who might be wondering, why is the education system all in English in India?
Well, so we have 16 official languages, or at least they used to have 16 official languages when I was there.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of my classmates came from all over India because it was a very good engineering program, and we recruited people from all over India.
Right.
And you know, half of them, or even probably 60% of them, didn't know anything about Hindi. So
that's right.
And it wasn't just a question of communicating with them, kind of learning English to be able to do well in school. It was also to be able to communicate with your cohort.
That's right. That's right. So, and I think there must be in our DNA, we do pick up things. We have this hunger for learning. I mean, I don't know why, because that's why there are Indians all over the world. There's no fear of moving to a different country and picking up on the culture and language.
Well, so I think for engineers in India, at that time anyway, after you did your engineering, going abroad really wasn't that rare because the path had already been established.
People ahead of you.
People ahead of us were coming here for higher education and things like that. Right. So it really wasn't as tough to do. So you kind of prepared yourself for that.
Mentally, you knew that.
That was a path that was available to you, and the only way you could kind of execute that was if you got fluent in the language. You have to take GRE.
Right, that's right.
And that has a verbal component, or at least used to have a verbal component.
That's right.
And you had to do well in it for you to be able to qualify to go. And even if you qualified and went there and didn't know the language, then it would be a total waste. So I think a lot of it is a necessity, and at the same time, kind of a desire because of the various transitions that most people make. They move from state to state and they have to learn a totally different language, totally different culture. So I think that makes you a lot more flexible mentally.
Actually, that's a great point because I know my friends who moved from North India to Southern India on a posting, government job posting, and they picked up the language so fluently. And so, yes, it somehow does come easily. But recently, a friend of mine whose son was born and brought up in Delhi got selected into some engineering program in Germany, and they were offering him a lot of good scholarships. So it was a no-brainer. Otherwise, it's so expensive.
Yes.
So he moved to Germany for his education, and he had to learn German. And now he is absolutely fluent in German. So there was no fear. He just took the plunge.
I think if you kind of differentiate India from US a little bit on this context, India is more like Europe, where people move around a lot, and everywhere people use a different language.
Yeah.
So they are, I think from a verbal skill standpoint, they end up being more flexible. I think that's the case with India as well for the same reason.
True, very true, very true. So then you move from engineering to business.
Yes.
And then Oppenheimer, Deutsche Bank, and where all have you been? Invesco.
The funny thing about life is it's a series of happenstance.
Yes.
I mean, you plan things and then you go wherever the opportunity, comes your way. And keeping an open mind with respect to be able to exploit those opportunities as opposed to being very linear, I think is extraordinarily important. And I've kind of benefited from that in a meaningful way. So when I graduated from the business program, so when I finished engineering, I decided I wasn't going to be an engineer and I wanted to kind of do something else. And economics seemed like a good thing. I was good at math, so I ended up coming here to do a PhD program in econometrics. Halfway through, I decided I didn't want to finish my PhD, just too much work. Went down the path of doing an MBA, and I ended up at Pricewaterhouse, which was at that time the premier accounting firm. So my sole goal in life was to become a partner at Pricewaterhouse because it was so prestigious. And my 3 years into that stretch, an opportunity opened up and I wasn't going to take it, and somebody hit me on the side of my head, say, "You're being an idiot. Just go to New York City, interview with Morgan Stanley. If they take you, you should take it."
You should take it.
Yeah, and that's why I did. So it was quite a transition from an engineer to an economist to an MBA to an accountant to a bulge bracket investment bank. I mean, in those days, this was in '87. Morgan Stanley was the investment bank in the U.S.
of the era. Yeah. So, do you think your open-mindedness definitely helped you?
Yes.
But all these places that you were, there were commonalities, and yet there were differences in the culture and the climate. So do you think there was a difference in communication also in those different areas?
Very much so. Very much so. So, when I started, I was as an analyst covering a particular sector. Utilities, it was a hot area in those days because there were going through a nuclear build-out program, and they were raising lots of capital in the marketplaces. So as an analyst, I had never written stuff for other people. It was all for our files and for our reports at Pricewaterhouse. It was never to communicate your ideas, your thoughts to other people. So it was a very steep learning curve. And my boss at that time, Marty Fridson, he's actually an institution with respect to high yield markets. He was a fantastic writer. He has probably written like 6-7 books.
Wow.
So I was really lucky to work with him because he would take my drafts and he would edit it. And then he would bang his head against his table because he had to put in so much effort into it. But he was so patient. I don't know, maybe that was his kind of prime quality, that's why he was so successful in developing people, was he had tremendous amount of patience to teach people skills that are going to be really important in life. So that was my written communication improved materially.
Wonderful.
In that 10-year span that I was at Morgan Stanley.
It's not easy to find a good mentor. So you were lucky, and it's not just everybody cannot be a good mentor.
Yeah. And actually people at Pricewaterhouse also gave me a few pointers from a communication standpoint, especially from a writing standpoint, that came in very handy because early, you come out of college, you write as if you're writing a report. And they say, well, you write that report, nobody's going to read it.
True.
So the one pointer that they gave me that I still kind of remember to this day and has been, again, very helpful to me, has been, write like you speak.
Yes, conversational. Keep it conversational.
And pithiness.
Yeah. Yes.
And not using big words.
Yeah.
All of those things are really, really important in especially communication in a corporate setting.
Any setting, I think. I can't tell my students enough. Keep it conversational. Nobody wants to listen to a speech.
This is, and those are really important pointers. And the progress I made, I think a lot had to do with learning these simple techniques,
very basic techniques
from really good mentors.
Yeah,
and they, for whatever reason, were vested in my growth. So I'm a really lucky person in that regard.
But I think you were also receptive.
Yes.
Not everybody is as open and receptive. So you were open to learning, and they enjoyed probably teaching you and mentoring you.
And they actually were delighted to see my growth. So that was, it was very satisfying from them. That's one quality of a true mentor.
Yes.
That they want to help people, and they take great pleasure in the development of their mentees.
Yeah, that's how I feel when I see my students transforming into their true best versions. I feel so gratified that going forward, this person's okay. They're good to go.
Yeah. And again, as a mentor, that's what you want, and that's very gratifying, very very satisfying experience.
And it's funny that the word mentor has a completely different vibe than teacher.
Yes.
Teacher comes with a bit of a moral burden.
The teacher-student relationship is very different than a mentor-mentee relationship. It's mentors are. There's not that high level of gradation between, teachers know everything. Yeah. And, students have to learn from them in a structured way. Mentor-mentee relationship is less formal and therefore kind of easier to sustain from my perspective.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of treading the middle line of partial teacher, partial mentor.
Yes.
Recently in one of my classes, this one middle school student, we were having a very heated, energetic conversation, and he just wanted to talk over and nobody was letting him talk, so he was arguing with me. At one point he says, but bro. I said, really? I'm bro now? So as I stopped him and at that moment, I was also feeling a little happy inside that, okay, we are bros now. So he's got that level of comfort with me. So it was cute. It was very cute. That's why I remember, and I bring it up right now. But so yes, communication in each place was different, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that conversational communication is what is appreciated, what is received well, not so professional, stiff communication in anything in life, I think, in any profession for that matter, and even in school. So that is one. But then you are also a very, very involved family man. So, and I've seen you, how beautifully and perfectly you balance work and family life. I mean, you would go out on ski trips with your children, and you know, I would hear it from Archana, and she didn't want to go. So you just took them alone. So you bonded with your children on different levels. So do you think your openness to learning from your mentors taught you something that you passed on to your children then?
A little bit for sure, but it really was a kind of an outcome of my upbringing. So, you know, we were 9 siblings.
Nice.
And in a joint family.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
You know, kind of, so at one point there were tons and tons of people in a house in a village. So, you know, that kind of built clans within the house. So, you know, it kind of built a little bit of bonding between your, you
have that social, emotional, relational intelligence.
Yes.
Because you've grown up in a small village, in a village. Your own house is a village. So for people who are wondering what joint family is, when uncles and aunts and grandparents all live under one roof and cousins grow up together as siblings. So it's lovely.
Yes. So, you know, and my kids have been, they have grown up really well, and they are well established now and kind of doing their own thing. So, you know, kind of see them grow up and, struggle along the way and find ways of overcoming those struggles. That's pretty good.
Amazing. Amazing. So do you think they are good communicators? They know how, we just brought up the social, emotional, relational aspect of communication. Do you think the children are aware of it and they apply it?
Well, so, you know, all of them are different. So, you can't expect everyone to be like you. So, somebody is a fantastic communicator. Actually, one of my children is a really good writer, and actually a reasonably good verbal communicator as well, and in a very emotionally sensitive way, which is, and she was like that from her childhood, so it was kind of different. And the other two are totally different.
Carefree people.
Yeah, well, my son is a computer programmer, so he has a particular approach to communications, and my oldest daughter is has kind of transitioned a few times in her life. So and she's actually a very good communicator as well, because she was in sales, and that is actually
need to be a good communicator.
One of the reasons why she didn't like it, so she eventually quit and moved on to do other things. But one of the reasons I encouraged her to kind of try out sales is because she was really a good communicator and a very personable person. So, you could relate to her and she could relate to you. And even if she didn't, she could pretend to be
relatable.
Which too is a skill for a salesperson.
That is a skill. No, absolutely. I mean, as much as we said, I don't believe in faking it till you make it, but you've got to fake that kind of warmth towards the other person so that other person feels good, because it's not about you, it's about them.
Absolutely.
In such scenarios. So, scenarios. See, I still say scenarios, and I know it's scenarios. I've been corrected so many times by my students, and I tell them all the time, I said, well, I just can't get rid of my British English. Yeah. What do I do? So it's scenario, tomato. It's the same thing. It's okay. You get what I'm saying. But it's also not in what you are saying. It's how the other person receives it. And, that age-old quote which says, it's not what you say, it's not what you give, it's how you make the other person feel. Something like that, right? Yes. So communication is one of the greatest skills.
Yes, a very effective tool to accomplish that.
Yes, and I think professionally or personally,
yes,
it is something that will take you places. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I've had crazy experiences in my life too. So when I ran for the local elections, I remember this one gentleman wrote to me. He had never met me, and I'd actually met him 3 years later, by the way, when he was moving out of town. And he said to me, he said, I really like the way you speak. So like, oh, thank you. I feel so validated. No, but again, I also had the immigrant mindset, right? So I'm thinking that, well, I do speak differently. Mm-hmm. But I own it.
Yes.
And I own it with confidence, and I own it with sense of conviction. So I think nobody has trouble understanding what I'm saying. So it's working.
Yeah, it's fine. I think the kind of you raise an important issue. I think for immigrants in the U.S. to be able to kind of have an immersive experience, mm-hmm. good communication is a critical part of that. Mm-hmm. And working on it throughout your transition and even after that, mm-hmm. I think is very, very important. And you know, folks from India like us are very lucky in that regard.
Right.
Because you know we may have spoken slightly differently, mm-hmm. With different kind of tones and emphasis, mm-hmm. But the foundation was there.
Yes.
And the willingness to evolve was there.
Absolutely.
And that's a good combination to have to kind of do well in a competitive environment, which we all face every day.
Absolutely. And when you look back, the dots connect.
Yes.
It all seems to fall in place and make sense. Yeah. Because sometimes going through the experience, you wonder, why am I doing this? I did something else and I'm here and then what am I doing?
You know, a kind of a corollary to that is now when I go to India, they think I speak funnily.
You know, that's so true because I will speak fluent Hindi and they will still say, no, you people come from America. So I said, how did you guess and why specifically America? They said, the whole attitude? I said, come on. I think I had attitude before and it's the same.
No, but again, your tone, tonality, verbiage, demeanor, hand movements,
yes, probably.
head movements, all of that. I mean, all of them are part of communication.
That is so true.
And that has evolved. And because it's been a gradual process for you, you don't realize that. And they're very good at slapping you around and reminding you of that.
Yes. But it's okay. Yeah, I enjoy that tremendously.
Okay. I live here, so I have to speak like the locals as best as I possibly can.
Yes, but at the same time, you know, I don't think you or I have changed so much. Your personality is still very Krishna. My personality is still very Vineeta. And I tell my students also, I said, you know, imagine yourself as Play-Doh. You can't keep fitting into people's molds to please them or to impress them. Then you'll be so bent out of shape, you'll forget who you really are.
Yes.
So be comfortable in who you are, the way you look, the way you speak, but be mindful of the other's perception of you also and how are they understanding you, because it's not about me, it's about them.
Yeah. Especially in communication, you know, you can dress any which way you want.
Absolutely.
Because it has no impact on the other person. But but if you want to communicate with somebody, you have to kind of have a little bit more empathy than your dressing preferences to be able to communicate effectively.
Absolutely. I think communication is the biggest link that connects all of us in so many beautiful ways, and we just don't give it as much value sometimes. We think we'll learn as we go through it, like literally dive into the deep end and learn to swim. But I'm glad that lots of children, a lot of younger parents are very mindful of it. Mm-hmm. And actually currently my youngest student is 7 years old.
Oh wow.
It's incredible. When they first called me, I was wondering, I said, what will I teach communication skills to a 7-year-old? But my God, they are so brilliant. Mm-hmm. And yes, it's all fun and games, but they're learning through the fun and games. And then they start catching my ums and ahs. Fill a word, fill a sound. But I love it. I said, the moment you start noticing yourself is when the battle is won.
Yeah.
Yeah, because how many?
They're sponges. They take.
They're sponges. Yeah. So my current range is 6 to 67.
Oh wow.
The oldest is 67, and it's been a great, gratifying journey. I'm glad that I've had the opportunity to travel to the other end of the globe and meet more very inspiring people like yourself. And because, you know, when you look at people such as you and many others around, it's inspiring. It's inspiring in so many ways, whether it's professionally or personally. It's been a pleasure to know you and to do this with you. And would you say that we were better than Bloomberg OATs? No, you don't have to. So we are just very grateful that we snagged you. So we will not compare ourselves. It's not about comparison and putting the other down to make yourself look better. I always say that, so I've got to live by my own words. But thank you so much. Is there anything else that you wanted to add before I close?
So, again, being flexible, being able to learn things and being able to take advantage of life opportunities, I think is really crucial in terms of progress in life. That's really, and that approach gives happenstance a chance to happen.
I love the happenstance reference. I love it. So yeah, having done and regretting is better than not having done at all.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Thank you so much, Krishna. Thank you so much for being here today. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. As always, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Stay well, stay safe. Remember to love and to laugh and have a blast. We shall meet again.